Mick, you mentioned there about last season, and you mentioned about being in the playoffs, QPR for most of the season up as far as February. Do you think maybe when you look at QPR, was it the strength and depth of the squad last year? And in terms of the championship, do you really need to have a 24, 25 player squad to really compete and to keep in that sort of top six positions throughout the season?
I'm not sure about last year because I wasn't here. I can only surmise from a distance, and obviously the goalkeeping situation had a massive impact on the team. I think because using 5 different goalkeepers, the team had a poor set play record in the last 15 or 20 games, and I look back and think, why would that be? Well, if you're changing your goalkeeper as much as the club were, and certainly Chris getting injured as well. Had an impact. So the injury record, I think, for anyone has got to be better than that if you want to do well. I think also I'm used to when I was in Scotland playing 60 plus games a season, all this talk about the championship being a rough 50 or, 50 games with the playoffs or 50 games with cup games. It's about, I'm looking for all them extra midweeks I've got off. Do you know what I mean? So I actually feel like I'm overly prepared for that. And I think if you are a young player, you want to be playing that amount of games because that means you're either international or you're part of a successful team. So I'm not sure we need 24, 25 outfield players. I think even if you look at the teams that win the league, it's maybe 17 or 18 core players that play and maybe even 7 or 8 that play 75% of the minutes. I'm actually looking for the team to show a bit more consistency and a core group of players to play together more often. Now, for that to happen, you have to have some fortune around injuries, but also the way pre-seasons, your way you build your pre-season, the way that you train in the week as well. That's all part of that.
And I suppose, Mick, you mentioned about interest in terms of key players. And I suppose, given that you're a championship club, it's just a stated equation. Every player has their price. But Ilias Chair has been such an important player for Queen's Park Rangers now over the last 2 years in terms of their ambitions, in terms of their attacking threat. Is it vital, really, that Ilias is there with you come into this transfer window?
Yeah, it's vital that Ilias and Chris and Rob, Jimmy, Jake, these young ones, Sam Field, it's vital that they're here. They're what make QPR what they are. I think we've got a very young, vibrant squad. Probably lacks a few grey hairs and cold-faced learning, but I'm planning on giving that to them, and I don't want to lose any of our main players. At this moment in time, no one's shown any interest in terms of putting anything down or to the club. But that doesn't mean we haven't got good players. I just think that's what the financial climate we're in at the moment. Championship clubs are rarely buying from each other. And the Premier League clubs are buying world superstars and paying 50 plus millions, for players. So if I look at the last few years, I've just come from Aston Villa where you had Ollie Watkins come out of the Championship, Emi Buendia come out of the Championship, you had Matty Cash come out of the Championship. The players are there. And I've made 1 or 2 of ours aware of what they need to do to entice them clubs to come in. Ideally, we want to go there as a group, but there's, where we are as a club and the landscape, if a boy from our squad jumps out like Abere as he did 3 years ago, we will also be super proud of him like we are of Abere going on to do what he's done at Crystal Palace.
And I suppose, Mick, throughout the season, you've opted for the 4-3-3 system. Are you sort of flexible in terms of changing on that, and given the match sort of situation, or is that the preferred method one of attack from the off?
No, I'm aware that I've got 3 outstanding centre-halves, I believe, in Jimmy Dunn, Rob Dickey and Jake Clark-Sutton. I know I can use that system at the moment. Outside of that, if I was to choose them and one of them was to go down with an injury or an illness, I would have to change the system. So it's an area that maybe we'll add to so that we've got that versatility. Also, at times, we'll play with 2 strikers and maybe a 4-4-2 variation. So it's more the principles that won't change. But in terms of the formation, I will try to keep the other managers guessing a little bit. And I want to try and make full use of the squad that we've got here. So to do that, I think you always have to have a variation to what might be your main preferred formation.
And finally, for me, Mick, just on an Irish perspective, there's rumours going around that you were in the running for Troy Parrott, who went to Preston. Was there any sort of truth in that? Were you in for Troy?
No, there was no truth in that. There was a phone call that I received earlier in the window about Troy. He's not a boy that I know well, to be honest. I know what club he's come from, and I know that he's done well as a young international going into the senior setup. But he was never been in our plans in terms of a player that we were looking to bring in. I wish him well at Preston. I think he's got a really good manager up there. He took another young player that I worked with last year, Cameron Archer, and did really well with him. I like Ryan as a man, and I think he can help Troy, but he was never on the radar here at QPR.
Cheers. Best of luck, Mick, at the weekend.
Thank you.